tritone, a G flat or F sharp. Dig it. Yeah, that's country book. Here we go. So I thought I would segue into a completely advanced concept, and this is the diminished scale. Let me get this better. It's on my face. Is that better? Hello? Uh-oh. Did we lose signal again? No, we're still there. See? Okay. Good. All right. So let me see. There's my face. Okay. So yeah, I thought I would go over the diminished scale, or as it's also known, half whole, or whole half. But there's a concept to this, and I've seen some people teaching it, which is good, but there's a few things that weren't touched on, or maybe the person who was teaching it didn't quite understand the connection with this other part, which is when it's half whole, there's a reason for that and how it functions, and when it's whole half. So since it's diminished, obviously it's off of diminished chords, right? Your diminished chords are a minor third apart, the intervals, and they just keep going, minor third, until it runs back into its octave, or it's one again, right? So there's a series of 4 notes actually in the diminished seventh chord, the full essence of the chord, and that's what we're looking for, because that completes the chord. And there's technically 3 different kinds of diminished chords, because they function in minor thirds, and there's only 3 positions that can be played on the piano. This is like C diminished, right? Then if I go up to C sharp, it's C sharp diminished. That's my second one. And I go up a half step, and that's D diminished. And then if I keep going up a half step, it just repeats again. E flat diminished is the same as C diminished. So you have that minor third. So you don't repeat it again. You just call the name of the diminished chord by what's in the root at the time. That's the best equation. Or harmonically making sense of some theory-based thing, that a piece you maybe have written or something you're trying to analyze or understand. Sometimes it's directly how it functions with the other chords. So anyways, this scale, let's start with the half whole, okay? And the reason why is because this gets a person into using it right away, and how that works is you just play a dominant chord. In this case, we're going to play C7, right? Or C9. And so you have a flatted 7th in there, and a 3rd and a 9th or a 2nd, right? So we play C7th, and then the diminished note, here's a little trick, is a half step up. So it's actually, what is it? So that's the way that it functions, okay? But it's off of the scale is actually off of your 7th chord, and so it becomes a minor, it becomes a flat 9 chord, right? Which is like a diminished chord. So this C7 becomes its own kind of diminished thing, and that's where the half whole comes. It functions in this way off of the flat 9 chord, When it's off of the diminished chord, the actual diminished chord, then it's whole half, okay? That's basically how that works, okay? So C7 and the scale goes like this, it just goes. Let's see if we can get, well, you'll hear it. I'll just call it out and it'll come up, the camera. So we're on C, you go up a half step to C sharp, right? Or D flat, whatever. It's actually D flat. So C, D flat, E flat, F flat, right? Which is E, G flat. I'm sorry, that would be, here's where the problem is. I guess it's G flat, then A double flat, or just G, then A, right? B, C, so it's C, C sharp, E flat. It's such a confusion. I actually don't know what to call this. I know how I would write it. That would be like a flat 9, so it would be C and then the flat 9. So that would be an actual D flat, right? E flat, E, I guess, then G flat, or F flat, G flat, G, A, B flat, B natural. So half, whole, half, whole, half, whole, half, whole. I'm sorry, there's a B flat in there. My bad. So it's, I think I played that. Right? That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So half, whole, half, whole, half, whole, half, whole. Right? And this is really interesting because you can also, by using this, you can take the diminished concept of the minor third and function with dominant chords like that. So this C7, now you can also solo over E flat 7, which is your minor third, E flat dominant, right? And then G flat dominant, and then A dominant. Listen. There's the tritone, a G flat or F sharp. That's the tritone of C, right? And so it's all related. And here again, where there's a relationship here. In a way, you could call this, if these are like people, these are kind of disparate people. You know? They really live life, these chords, you know? They have a disparate past. Right? Okay, so now let's just do a couple of these. So I'm going to move around. I'm going to move to another one. So now I'm on E dominant. Okay? So my minor thirds are, the diminished chord is actually, hold on a second to me. Okay, so here we are, right? We're at the other, so we're at E dominant, right? E7. So here's the diminished, a minor third. That's the chord, but we're going to play them as functioning as dominant chords and going in minor thirds. Right? So E dominant, G dominant. Right? B flat dominant, D flat dominant. So ooh. Ooh. And then maybe back to C. You can almost do a diminished blues. move to another one. Yeah, I'm on A right there. Now, here we're on D dominant. Now maybe a regular blues. Here's a diminished chord walking up to C minor. Here's an actual diminished chord. So that's where I would go, probably whole half. Yep. See? So you see that rule. When it's a dominant chord, they can function in minor thirds, the actual chords. In fact, the less you play, the better for stuff like that, because it's so ambiguous and dark, and our ears aren't used to it. But there is some really nice stuff in there. It's like almost like Bach fugues. Diminish. Flat 9. Up. Yeah. Yeah. Now here's the diminish. Here's a flat 9. And one last little trick. So this is a big, a lot of times we always say about Jimi Hendrix with the Hendrix chord, E7 sharp 9. The Hendrix chord, right? So there's a 5-1 relationship or 4-1. By the way, just so you know, the circle of fifths and the circle of fourths, it's all about the fifth. It's all about 1 and 5 relationship, really. And when you really narrow it down, it's tonic and dominant, tonic and dominant. Tonic is the 1, dominant is the 5, okay? That 4 chord, although it's really, really important, it's not the main crux of it, So, might be getting a little too advanced for a second. Yeah, so moving these chords, they move in 1/5 or your tritone substitution, approaching your chord, and that's what they call the tritone substitution, which is before you're approaching the chord that you're going to, which is your 1-5 relationship or 1-4. The reason why I say 1-4, it's still 1-5. It's just whatever direction you're going. If you go from C to F, C to F, that's how we look at it as a fourth. But it's really a fifth. It's just depending on what direction you're coming from. C to F coming down is a fifth. See? So it's tricky. I mean, in a way, music and the voice leading really goes more that direction than kind of going like this. It's moving primarily most of the time down, I think. There's a more, just because, I shouldn't say that. There's no hard rule. Of course, you're going in both directions, but I'm saying the actual voice leading thing, the bass, the whole concept of bass, So you have C, and then it's tritone substitution. We're going to go to an F chord, right? That's what we're approaching right now, right? But before we get there, we're going to go to the chord a half step above it, which is G flat, right? Now, C, if I play a C13 voicing, which basically is stripped down, you got the C in the bass, and okay, maybe we'll put a fifth in there, C and then a G in my left hand, and then we have a B flat, that's my flatted seventh. My E is my third, and then my A is my 13. And this voicing, this hand position is an important one on the piano anyway. So because they're in fourths or fifths, depending on what direction you're coming from. Okay, so right. So here it is, C13, right? So now we can keep this voicing just as it is, and take your left hand and go to the G flat. Now you have the same voicing here. That's why it shares the relationship. Now this is a G flat sharp 9. G flat 7 sharp 9. That's what this is. So your tritone substitution is in relationship to the chord prior to it, shares its sharp 9 and its 13 relationship. So it was C13, now it's a G flat sharp 9, right? Now when we go and do the tritone substitution of this, that would be B, right? So now that's a 13 chord, and now we're going to go to the tritone substitution of that, right? So anyways, here, the trick is this. Look, you can either go like this and grab the tritone sub before you approach the next chord, and all you're doing is moving down in half steps. So your right hand is just going. And here's what it's doing. Back to B or C right before it. So that was moving like that. Now you can also just move in half steps. See how I'm moving down? But you can decide when you want to do a 5-1 relationship, like maybe right here. Right? whole tone scale. And there's just so it's just a relationship of moving in half steps or tritone substitutions, leading to the next chord. And I'm just improvising. And these are chord alternating triads is what we called them with Dick Grove. There they are. That's going to be it for tonight. Thank you. I hope that was a informative lesson. Hopefully my signal went through. And have a wonderful night. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.